The West was formed as a community of countries that traditionally held the monopoly, and they were the ones who ran colonies. France had colonies in Africa, the UK had colonies in Asia mostly, such as India or Southeast Asia, Spain, Portugal, the Netherlands, or, well, the United States. They never really had big colonies, but they were into slave trade, they exploited people, they bought and sold people, and they basically controlled the land that belonged to the Native Americans. And they also treated the states around them as colonies. So the West, for centuries, was formed around this idea that they are exclusive because they have the power, because they are the strong ones. So they can take advantage because they have that power. They don't need to justify their actions. They can just reap the benefits of their aggressive exploration of the planet. That was their collective logic. Well, it became their collective logic. And it is amazing that in the 21st century, their former colonies in Africa, Asia, and Latin America became not just independent sovereign states with their national symbols and borders, and they became members of the United Nations, but they became independent because they make sovereign, independent decisions in their countries. In the recent year and a half, there was a lot of pressure applied against African countries by Washington. They tried and even threatened them not to work with Russia, and they tried to work through the IMF, and they threatened that they would withdraw investments. They were also personal threats, but Africa didn't budge. Africa said that it would do what it wanted to do, and it will decide who to work with. And Africa knows Russia's historic role and the role of the Soviet Union, and knows the role that the West played in Africa. The Soviet Union left behind plants, infrastructure, energy, and it just left all that to African countries to use as they saw fit, whereas the West only took things, resources, slaves. It took the future of the continent, and of course they remember all that, so they strive for their independence. And so what happened to former colonizers, the countries of the European Union? They lost their sovereignty, they lost their independence. They now report to Washington and the United Kingdom, because London and Washington are basically united on many fronts. So they lost their independence and they became colonies. They are colonies of the United States of America. They even have a name for this community of colonies. It's called NATO. It's not even the European Union, it's NATO. And this community of colonies, Commonwealth of Colonies, wants to grow. The United States wants to see more colonies in that community. They are not satisfied with Europe. They are looking at Asia and other global regions, and everybody sees and understands that. So it's not just a figure of speech, not just like some metaphor. It's a real fact, and we see that it's true.